Yeah, Andy, you're such a good looking guy.
I mean, I try. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Go ahead. Your turn.
No.
All right. I love that. What do we have here besides you trying to grow hair above the neck? Usually it's just on your back. This is Andy Sure and Jared Wright, and we're finally back with a little collaboration of real estate.
It's been a hot minute, guy.
It was, dude. I won't even sing our intro song until we put two of these together in 2 weeks.
Done.
Here we go. It's another week for the J&A show.
It has to go.
Who's back? Back
again.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hey, everybody. Woo, woo. It's 2023. I got you. Hey, here we go. It's the J&A show. What are we going to talk about this week? Yeah. Andy and Jared back on the mic. I came to rock this party tonight.
We got to have a new jingle, dude. And I probably have been the root cause of excuses, so.
I have some too.
I bet. So, Andy, what else is new? How's the 2024 rolling for you?
Very busy. Very, very busy. Lots of good questions, obviously. And you and I were talking about this a little bit before. And absentee owners is obviously where we're headed for today.
Yeah.
And we're getting that question nonstop, especially like, I know that we haven't riffed it on a podcast recently. So I do want to give a shout out to you guys and what you've been doing too. Before we go even further into this, because of the UI stuff that you guys are putting in place, and I don't know, like, yeah, and again, for anyone that's listening to this podcast or watching this video for the first time, y'all need to check out the new UI that they have in place. It is simply unreal, and what you're able to do inside of there with navigating sort of your lists and what you guys actually want to be targeting per zip code is friggin' phenomenal.
Dude, that's awesome. That's heartfelt and much appreciated. It's been a journey. And it's something that, you know, when we started this, my vision, just through my experience of data, was that we need to have a spot that people can go and grab the data. You know, it's kind of like the Amazon of real estate listing leads, you know, and a lot of people don't even get the availability of having phones on the records right away. And so this is like phase one. We're 8 weeks in. So yeah, really, really appreciate it. There's some databases out there. And if anyone is interested in, you know, customizing their own lead shop with customizing data or utilizing the skin to make some revenue to your audience, hit us up. But yeah, that's awesome, Andy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, as always. So let's shoot some shop over some absentees, because I still think that that's obviously a viable source for realtors and honestly investors as well. So I'll let you sort of take that.
I want to ask you real quick too, as I heard some of the preliminary numbers, is January's up 10% from the year prior in real estate transactions. January 23 versus January 24. January 24 is 10% higher in transactions. And that's something that we haven't seen for a couple of years, just getting into that spring buzz of it all. So for me, the understanding of the scope of the market and, you know, it's been this, troublesome woes me world is now starting to have more transactions. So what does that mean? You have to get creative in what audience you're going after. Absentee owners. Do we even know what an absentee owner is?
Well, give your rendition of, you guys obviously have a data set that you pull.
I have an absentee father. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully he doesn't watch this. But no, absentee owners are like non-owner occupied. It could either be an inherited property, a low-level investor, or anything in between. Or you bought your first home and you wanted to hang on to it. And we're seeing more of that. And there's more baby boomers who 30, 40 years ago did that. And now they're holding on to this and like, frick, what am I going to do? I just said frick. But it's becoming more relevant. And what I love about absentee owners, no matter what, and some people might complain about this, but in some cases, they might not need to buy another property in a low inventory market right now. So yeah, you can go out there, put a sign in the yard, make some commission, and then carry on, or have a relationship with them. Hey, does your brother or does your family member or your in-laws, you know, Blake Wallace, I'll give him a shout out. He's in Minneapolis. But when we talked, how many absentee deals do you get a year from our data? And he's like, about 15. But he's like, well, if you really dig in, it's almost like 2 or 3 times more, because I'm now embedded in these relationships where they're, hey, here's my brother and here's my sister-in-law. And it's not absentee per se, but it's real estate transactions all from hustling and outreach, right? So outbound cold calling is kind of a bad word for me. Outbound marketing is kind of the conversation.
I like the mindset shift there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think, you know, so national market, obviously, as you were saying, is up. So what I do want to point out is that there are certain markets that have swung towards like a buyer market, and longer days on market and some price drops here and there, specifically with some areas in Florida, right? So some areas in Florida have taken that little bit of a hit with regard to price drops. And candidly, I mean, I don't know what you guys expected for overall. Like, I mean, we had COVID years and it was 20 to 30% increases. There's no way that was going to be sustainable for a long-term increase.
Especially on the coastal areas, yeah.
Right, which is even more reason why, and what you and I are going to be talking a little bit more about too, is what the longevity or the viability is of absentee owners. And I don't think there's a market nationally right now that doesn't make sense for agents to approach absentee owners.
Right.
And whether it's through emails, door knocking, print mail, phone calls, I think it is near and dear to my heart. As you guys know, it's just something that is candidly, it's not going to get there. There's nothing else that will
your control.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like when it comes to absentee owners, that there's going to be, this is why I like them so much. There's not that emotional attachment to the property. So as an agent, if I'm calling on those, I know that I can spit numbers, strategy. I could talk to them about return on equity. And I know that that's not really where a lot of agents go, but that's where they should go to convert at a higher level with absentees. And they're here and now if there's pain.
No, yeah, exactly. And there's not overlooking the script. It's pretty basic, right? Like you're not even asking if Tim, John, Paul, Rhonda, Jill, Joan is there. It's, hey, are you still own the property at 123 Main Street, and then we have a buyer for that, or, are you interested in selling? So it's a very casual, quick conversation. And like you said, there's no empathy for them within that property, unless it was their first home. But at that point, they haven't been in it for a long time and they have new memories in their new abode.
Yeah. So I'll go a little bit of a bonus tip too, before we start to wrap this thing up. And where I think a lot of agents go is, well, it's only one source, right? Like I'm going to get that list. I'm going to call that list. And, 90 days later, I'm going to have to order another list. And I just don't know, that commitment of how am I actually going to turn this into revenue? So obviously the consistency feels so. Where I think a lot of agents sort of get short-sighted is the investor network that they can actually form just by making these absentee owner calls. Because a lot of these absentee owners don't just own one property, they own multiple properties. Right. So it's not just a single call and then all of a sudden it's that one property that they might be interested in selling. I know multiple stories where it's been, well, I own 4 other homes, 5 other properties where I'm going to liquidate those over the next 12 months too.
Totally. How many times should a real estate professional call through an absentee owner list?
6.
6.
Bare minimum. And through 6, right, you're going to see diminishing returns on 5 and 6. Through that 5th and 6th call through, you'll have diminishing returns, but at least you know that you're exhausting the list.
Yep, totally. What I love about the share group too, and I'm going to pat myself on the back, is the store being able to fund your wallet for discount and then take data as you progress in your calling, while it stays in the hub up to date and, through that weekly litigation removal, litigators removal, DNCs or NICSI flags and stuff like that out of business. So that's another perk to going out there and finding a place to grab some absentee owners. I think that, right now, a lot of real estate agents are excited about the for sale by owner, the expired listing, but so is every other agent in their market. So this is an opportunity for you to get creative, find a niche that you can be really good at. And like you said, there's not a market in America that doesn't have a motivated absentee owner looking to sell the property. They don't really know where to go. A lot of them are pretty ego-centric as far as reaching out. So if you catch them at the right time, and that's what you have to do, we're the treasure map to the gold. I have to say that every podcast. But you catch them at the right time, you're off and running. And then I think an owner-occupied bonus, and we can talk about this next podcast, I'm going to kind of set the table, is the baby boomers and what's affecting that universe. And then for the next one after that, kind of on deck, is the distressed universe. We've updated our model and that total's increased 1.4 million records nationally here in the last couple of weeks. Updating, revamping a lot of the motivation segments within the data. It's changing as the market changes too.
I love that.
Yeah. Andy, you're such a good looking guy.
I mean, I try. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Go ahead. Your turn.
No.
All right. I love that. Much love, dude. I will catch you. I'll text you. We'll wrap, but this is finally good. So send it my way in a couple, whenever you get a chance.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace, bro.
Together.